Now that it's been a few weeks since the finale of Cour 3, it's time to turn our attention towards the fourth and final cour of Bleach's 1000 Year Blood War arc anime. In part 4, titled The Calamity, fans are about to witness the grand finale which we have been waiting over a decade to see animated. With Cour 3 wrapping up at the midpoint of chapter 661, it means that Cour 4 only has 25.5 manga chapters worth of content to adapt into its 13 episode run. Pierrot Films definitely has an unprecedented opportunity here to expand upon the finale of Bleach's final arc. To put things into perspective, Cours 1 to 3 had each adapted between 50 to 67 chapters worth of manga content. Cour 4 is working with less than half of this amount of source material, which means that you can expect over 50% of never before seen content included within Cour 4. Kubo himself had even teased that some episodes will feature scenes that we have never seen before, and there will be entire episodes of new content. Cour 4 has so many iconic moments, from the Bankai reveal of Kinpachi and Urahara, to the complete release of Hitsugaya's Bankai where he activates his adult form, and not to forget the insane confrontation between Yhwach and Aizen, and all of this builds up to the final showdown between Ichigo and Yhwach, which determines the fate of all of the worlds. In this video, I want to break down all of the confirmed manga events which will be occurring within Cour 4 The Calamity, as we'll be analysing each of the key fights and significant plot points so that all of you can remain excited for the upcoming season of Bleach. Now, you're definitely going to want to stick around until the very end of the video, as I'll be exploring some fascinating predictions about what brand new anime original content Pierrot Films may include to expand upon the finale of the 1000 Year Blood War arc. Whether if you are very familiar with the manga content or if you are a anime only fan, Cour 4 promises to include a ton of material that none of us have seen before. So without further delay, let's dive into everything that we can expect from Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Cour 4 The Calamity. We got really tired of the same old boring anime shirts, so we decided to launch Getsuga.com with the aim of creating designs inspired by our favorite anime and manga. We came up with designs that look cool and represent all of our favorite stories. Check out the latest Instinct collection, which features some amazing designs like this Frosted Heavens design inspired by Toshiro Hitsugaya, or this Instinct design inspired by Hollow Ichigo, and my personal favorite, which is the Heart design, which was inspired by Ukiura Shifa. Do not miss out, go to Getsuga.com and wear your favorite stories. Early on in Cour 4, we are finally going to get to see the Vizards unleash their power against one of Yhwach's most powerful Sternritter, Gerard Valkyrie. It's no secret that the Vizards were sidelined for most of this story arc, but in Cour 3 we had seen Love, Lisa, Hiyori and Hachi make their dramatic return to the battlefield as they joined the other Vizards and donned their hollow masks within Cour 3 in an anime exclusive scene. This highlights that the anime is already confirming to expand upon the role of the Vizards in the 1000 Year Blood War arc, as Shinji also had several anime exclusive scenes in both Cour 2 and Cour 3, as his Bankai from Can't Be Your Own World was also included in a anime original scene in Cour 2. So it seems like the Vizards' confrontation with Gerard will also be expanded in the final season of the anime. Within the manga, we see the battle kick off with an incredible display of coordinated attacks as the former captains and lieutenants who make up the Vizards form a devastating team. We see Hiyori unleash a ferocious triple Sero as both Love and Lisa execute their signature attacks, as Hachi also joins the fight with techniques like Chocolate Bar Slider, which demonstrate why he was the lieutenant of the Kido Corps over 100 years ago. The Vizards' battle against Gerard establishes the terrifying scope of Gerard's abilities as he shrugs off a lot of their combined assault. Aside from the Vizards being no threat to Gerard, it does give these beloved characters an opportunity to showcase their abilities, and the fact that they have donned their hollow masks in a anime exclusive scene in Cour 3 highlights that Cour 4 is going to be expanding upon this battle. I wonder if any of the Vizards will be activating their Bankai with their hollow masks activated. I know that this is something a lot of fans do want to see. Pierrot Films do have an opportunity here to really flex their creative muscles and to work with Kubo in order to give the Vizards some justice here. Each of the Vizards have their own distinctive fighting style, from Lisa's graceful Zanpakuto, which transforms into a spear, to Love's overwhelming physical power, as well as Hiyori's fierce hollow enhanced abilities, to Hachi Kenpachi's intricate mastery of Kido. I do think that they have an opportunity here to showcase to us the Bankai of Love, because he is the only Vizard captain who has yet to reveal his Bankai. Like I mentioned, this fight against the Vizards serves to show just how powerful Gerard is, as this entire battle sequence seamlessly transitions into Hitsugaya's confrontation with Gerard, as the captain of the 10th Division makes his highly anticipated return to the battlefield after he was zombified by Giselle and then healed by Mayuri. Following this, we have one of the most highly anticipated battles of Cour 4, and this is the fight between Kisuke Urahara and Asukin Nakalava. This battle kicks off after Yoruichi unveils her ultimate technique, which is her God of Thunder form. This transformation alters her Reiatsu up to 48 times per second. This initially overwhelms Asukin's death-dealing ability, but just when victory appears to be within reach, Asukin reveals his trump card, which is his terrifying Holy Form. The stakes begin to further escalate when Asukin traps both Urahara and Yoruichi within his deadliest ability called the Gift Ball Deluxe. It's here where we finally learn why Urahara was designated as one of the 5 great war powers. His unparalleled ability to analyze and adapt to any situation on the battlefield makes him a uniquely dangerous threat amongst the Shinigami. During his battle against Asukin, Urahara finds himself pushed to his absolute limit, as it forces him to unveil something that fans have been waiting decades to see. This, of course, is his incredible Bankai Kanon Beraki Benihime Aratame. The true nature of Urahara's Bankai is fascinating, as it grants him the power to restructure anything that it touches. We see this power's versatility when he reconstructs his own eyes after Asukin destroys them. He also uses this ability to devastating effect in close combat. In true Urahara fashion, the real genius lies in how he's already laid the groundwork for his master plan long before revealing his ultimate technique. Just when Asukin believes that he secured victory by amplifying his Gift Ball Deluxe, Urahara springs his trap as he had created a path through the supposedly impenetrable Gift Ball for none other than Grimmjow to deliver the killing blow against the Sternritter. Grimmjow, who is now in his Resurrection form Pantera, literally rips out Asukin's heart in one of the 1000-Year Blood War arc's most brutal moments. This was truly an incredible strategy as Urahara works together with the former 6th ranking Espada, as their teamwork makes for the perfect counter to Asukin's abilities. However, even in death, Asukin proves why he has earned his place amongst the elite Sternritter, as his Gift Ball Deluxe grows exponentially more powerful when he dies, leaving both Urahara and Grimmjow incapacitated. This seemingly hopeless situation sets up for another exciting reunion when Nell arrives to rescue them from certain death. I am very confident that Nell's arrival will be expanded upon within Cour 4, as we didn't really get to see her rescue them in the manga, but additional details about how Nell had rescued Grimmjow and Urahara are revealed to us in Can't Fear Homeworld, so I'm sure some of that will make its way over into these anime exclusive scenes in Cour 4. This now brings us to what I am expecting to be the most visually spectacular battle within Cour 4. This is the all-out fight against Gerard Valkyrie, where the ultimate team-up of Kenpachi, Hitsugaya and Byakuya work together to battle the colossal Sternritter. After witnessing Gerard's terrifying Shrift the Miracle, which allows him to grow to a gigantic size, Kenpachi arrives onto the battlefield to test his abilities against this new opponent. What follows is a brutal exchange which pushes the battle-loving Kenpachi to unleash his Shikai Nozarashi for the 2nd time following his battle against Gremmy. Now Gerard has a nasty surprise in store, as his sword Hoffnung possesses the ability to reflect any damage done to its blade as injuries on its opponent. Even as Kenpachi receives devastating wounds, he refuses to back down in typical fashion, and that's when something incredible happens. The spirit of his lieutenant Yachiru appears before him, as she awakens his Bankai, as we learn that Yachiru is in fact Kenpachi's Zanpakuto spirit. Kenpachi then transforms into a demonic Oni-like entity as he embodies pure destruction, and initially he does appear to overwhelm Gerard, even managing to cut the gigantic Sternritter in half with just a single strike. However, Gerard proves why he is among one of Yhwach's elite Schutzstaffel as he activates his Volstandig. Just as Gerard reaches new heights of power, we see the terrifying downside of Kinpachi's Bankai as his body begins to break down as it is unable to contain the overwhelming destructive force of his Bankai. This is when Hitsugaya steps up in a way that nobody would have expected, as we learn that his Bankai has reached its time limit, but instead of deactivating, his Bankai triggers his mature form. This of course is where we are treated to the adult Hitsugaya transformation, as the captain of the 10th Division proves why he is a once-in-a-century prodigy, as he unleashes his Shikai Hyoketsu, a ability which flash freezes Gerard and breaks down his ability to perform miracles at a molecular level. The combined assault against Gerard reaches its peak when Byakuya joins the fray, demonstrating just how far he has come when he unleashes his ultimate technique, Ika Senjinka. This ability involves him condensing thousands of blade petals into a single devastating strike. The combined power of these three captains appears to finally overwhelm Gerard until he revives once again in an even more monstrous form. As dawn begins to break, it appears as though Gerard may be truly unstoppable, but Yhwach initiates his final Ashvalen as it drains Gerard of his power along with the other remaining Quincy. The entire fight against Gerard explains why the Schutzstaffel members had earned their fearsome reputation, while we also see the full might of the Gotei 13's strongest captains showcased against these opponents. Pero Films definitely have their work cut out for them to adapt these pages of the manga and to expand upon them via some much needed anime exclusive editions. There is potential for this to be one of the most visually spectacular battles in the entire history of the Bleach anime if done right. Cour 3 had also wrapped up by teasing us with a cliffhanger of Uryu's battle against Hashward. Undoubtedly, this will be a pivotal moment within Cour 4 as night falls over Varavalt, with Hashward confronting Uryu about his true motives. This leads to an intense battle which reveals shocking new powers from both of them, with Hashward demonstrating his incredible Shrift ability to balance, which enables him to redistribute any misfortune which would befall him onto his opponent instead. The balance combined with his shield which absorbs all incoming misfortune, Hashward initially appears to be unbeatable, but the tide of the battle truly turns when Uryu reveals his very own Shrift, the Antithesis. This power lets him reverse the events that have occurred between any two targets, essentially flipping their states. When Uryu first uses this to transfer all of his injuries to Hashward, it initially appears to be the perfect counter to the balance. However, Hashward's mastery over his own Shrift allows him to redirect everything back to Uryu with even greater force. In Cour 3, we had finally seen Uryu speak his truth as he had sided with Ichigo and his friends, as this enrages Hashward, who believes Uryu should remain loyal to Yhwach, who had granted him power and had also declared Uryu to be his successor. In the manga, Uryu vs Hashward occurs off-screen for the most part, but I do believe that the anime will be expanding upon this fight in a major way. Before the battle between the two of them can truly conclude, Yhwach's final Ashwalen strikes Hashward, stripping him of his power. In a final moment of redemption, the dying Hashward urges Uryu to transfer all of the wounds that he has onto him instead, as he had known that he was going to die anyway. Hashward's final words reflect upon the importance of choosing one's own path, even if it doesn't change the ultimate outcome. At this point, Hashward had realized that Yhwach was acting on his own selfish desires and not for the best interest of the Quincy, and it's going to be incredible to see how this is depicted within the anime. This battle also serves as setup for the crucial role that Uryu will play in the final confrontation against Yhwach. But before that, we have Ichigo's highly anticipated rematch against Yuha, and this battle erupts as soon as Yhwach awakens and he confronts Ichigo and Orihime, who have arrived within his throne room. Initially, Yhwach toys around with Ichigo, using only his base Reiatsu to repel attacks while taunting him. Ichigo then unleashes a new form called the Horn of Salvation form, as he deliberately absorbs Yhwach's Quincy Reiatsu during their clashes, as it forces out his inner hollow powers, which achieve perfect harmony with his Quincy powers, thus allowing for this transformation to occur. The The transformed Ichigo proves to be very powerful as he destroys the upper levels of Vahravelt and pushes Yhwach hard enough that he is forced to activate the Almighty. In a stunning sequence, Ichigo combines a Getsuga Tensho with a Gran Rei Sero, a technique that has never been seen before, and this just hints at the true devastating potential that Ichigo has in this new form. But Yhwach reveals why he is the ultimate antagonist of the Bleach manga, as he uses the Almighty's power to transform the future itself, as he turns the tide of battle by breaking Ichigo's new Bankai Tensei Zangetsu before it can be even used in battle. I do believe that this sequence was rushed within the manga, and I think Cour 4 of the anime is at least going to show us Ichigo use his new Bankai in a couple of fight sequences. I'll be very disappointed if this isn't the case, because a lot of people were let down by the Horn of Salvation transformation, as well as the lackluster utilization of Ichigo's Bankai, which was literally nerfed within a single page turn. While yes, this moment does serve to showcase the true scope of Yhwach's power and how unbeatable he is, I think that this can still be achieved while showcasing one or two moments with Ichigo's new Bankai, which should hopefully satisfy a lot of our curiosity. I do think that it's very likely that we're going to see more of Ichigo's new Bankai, especially when you look back at some of the anime exclusive scenes that we have received. Within the manga, we didn't get to see Uryu's Volständig, but the anime had finally revealed this form with an all-new devastating moveset, which really makes you rethink the power level of Uryu, especially after some of the feats that he was able to achieve within Cour 3. And then not to forget Renji's true Bankai, which was also expanded upon within Cour 3 during his exclusive fight against Uryu. We had seen several new abilities that we did not get to see within the manga during his battle against Mask D Masculine. And then even in Cour 2, we had the Bankai reveal of Shinji as well as the Bankai reveal of Senjumaru. These were all new transformations which featured specific abilities that were not showcased within the manga. During this fight, we learned that Yhwach does not just have the ability to foresee the future, but he can actively look at every single future outcome and select his desired future and thus bring it into the present. Thanks to the utterly broken powers of the Almighty, almost all abilities are rendered useless against him. Towards the end of this rematch, Yhwach strips Ichigo of both of his Quincy and Hollow powers through an enhanced Ashvalan, and it's here where he also casts Ashvalan to steal the powers of Gerard Valkyrie as well as Hashward. The end of this fight perfectly sets up the final confrontation against Yhwach as Ichigo sinks into despair, but in a brief moment of respite, a couple of key developments occur which bring some newfound hope to the situation. In the manga, this is where Ryuken hands to Uryu the still silver arrowhead. This was created via the Silver of Stillness, a blood clot that was within the heart of Uryu's mother. This clot had formed within Kanai Katagiri's heart when Yhwach had casted his first Ashvalan over 9 years ago. Here we learn the true purpose behind why Ryuken had conducted the autopsy of his wife and why this arrowhead is going to play a critical role in defeating Yhwach. Another key development involves the return of the Fullbringers Tsukishima and Ginjo. In one of the most unexpected plot twists of this portion of the story, Tsukishima uses his Fullbring ability Book of the End to insert himself into Ichigo's past. This is where he creates an alternate history where Tensei Zangetsu was never broken. Thanks to this, it enables Orihime to reject the destroyed state of Ichigo's Bankai, and thanks to Orihime and Tsukishima's involvement, they are essentially able to bypass Yhwach's ability the Almighty. This honestly is a beautiful full circle moment as former enemies become allies, and with the arrival of Renji and Rukia, Ichigo finds newfound hope when Renji lifts him back up to his feet as the two of them prepare for a final confrontation against Yhwach as they rush towards the Soul Society. After Yhwach had defeated Ichigo, he had emerged within the Soul Society from a portal as he is greeted by none other than Sosuke Aizen. He welcomes Yhwach to his Soul Society, and understandably this is one of the most highly anticipated moments of Cour 4 that people want to see animated the most. What follows here is a incredible brief confrontation between Aizen and Yhwach, and one that I hope is expanded upon within the anime, as then Ichigo and Renji arrive into the battlefield, but we then see a spectacular sequence where Aizen's ability Kyoka Suigetsu alters Yhwach's perception of reality, as Yhwach is unable to distinguish between Aizen, Renji, and Ichigo, and this showcases just how much Kyoka has evolved into one of the most broken abilities able to induce perfect hypnosis, even against a monster like Yhwach who possesses an ability like the Almighty. During this battle, Aizen demonstrates why he is among one of the 5 great war powers, as this brief battle sequence culminates in a coordinated attack against Yhwach, as Aizen's Kyoka creates a perfect opening for Ichigo to land a devastating strike against Yuha. Ichigo cuts Yhwach in half with a devastating Getsuga Tensho, but victory appears to be very brief, as the Almighty allows Yhwach to literally rewrite his own death, demonstrating the true terror of his power. Yhwach's Dark Reiatsu begins consuming everything in sight, threatening to merge all of the worlds into one. The battle then reaches its peak, and it's at this moment that Uryu arrives and he fires the still silver arrowhead through Yhwach's chest. This creates a momentary disruption within Yhwach's Shrift the Almighty, and just for a split second, his Shrift is rendered useless. Within this fleeting window of opportunity, Ichigo unleashes his final attack as Yuha attempts to break Tensa Zangetsu once more, but the white outer layer of Ichigo's Bankai crumbles away to reveal the shape of Ichigo's original Shikai. Fans believe that this is in fact Ichigo's true Bankai form, as this final strike is successful in defeating Yhwach. Before dying, he delivers a haunting final speech about fear and courage, questioning whether if a world where death remains an ever-present fear is truly the right path that Ichigo has chosen. This moment helps to shed light on the motives of Yhwach, as he was more than just an ordinary villain that needed to be defeated. Yuha's actions, however misguided they may have been, had stemmed from a genuine desire to free humanity from the fear of death. This brings us to the end of the 1000-Year Blood War arc, and Core 4 is most likely going to wrap up with the final 2 chapters of the Bleach manga, which serve as the epilogue of the series, which takes place 10 years following the defeat of Yhwach. Over this decade-long time skip, we get to see just how much the Soul Society, as well as Ichigo and his friends, have evolved, as we witness the Serete finally having completed its restoration, and it's evident that the changes within the Soul Society run far deeper than mere architecture. The Gotei 13 has been restructured considerably, with Rukia being newly appointed as the captain of the 13th Division, as she takes over from her former captain Ukitake. Meanwhile, Lisa Yadomaru is appointed as the captain of the 8th Division, and Isane takes over command of the 4th Division. The epilogue also shows us Mayuri, who appears with an all-new look, as he is accompanied by the newest iteration of Nemu, who is just a child at this point in time. Within the world of the living, we see how the core cast of characters have matured, as Ichigo and his friends have all grown into adults, and they are gathering within Kurosaki Clinic to watch Chad's very first professional boxing match. Uryu at this time has also become a respected doctor, as he is on a lunch break watching Chad's fight, and perhaps the most touching revelation is seeing Ichigo and Orihime's new life as a couple, as we are introduced to their young son Kazui Kurosaki, and he shows signs of inheriting his father's spiritual powers as he transforms into a Shinigami in front of the daughter of Renji and Rukia, who is revealed to be called Ichika Abarai. Their meeting mirrors the fateful encounter between Ichigo and Rukia, which had started the entire story of Bleach, and while yes, we do get a very wholesome ending, the epilogue unfortunately isn't free of tension, as various captains gather to investigate traces of Yhwach's lingering Reiatsu around the Serete. We then get a fascinating glimpse of Aizen, who we learn is still imprisoned within Muken following the events of the 1000-Year Blood War arc, as he comments upon the motives of Yhwach, and he delivers his iconic speech on courage. This is pretty much all of the manga content that we can expect to see adapted within Core 4. You can see that these 25.5 chapters are densely packed with a lot of plot points. So much happens within this very short span of chapters, and it's incredible that all of this material has the room to breathe finally over the 13 episode run of Core 4. Typically, Cores 1 to 3 had adapted 50 to 67 chapters worth of material. This means that over half of the content within Core 4 is going to consist of entirely new stuff that we have never seen before, and all of this will serve to pad out and expand upon this rushed manga content. Kubo himself teased that the final core will feature entire episodes of brand new content. I want to break down the most likely additions that we can expect to see within Cour 4 The Calamity. First up, there is a possibility that we are going to be seeing the long-awaited Urahara and Yoruichi backstory hopefully revealed during Urahara's battle against Askin. Kubo has mentioned having the plotline fully drawn up in the past, but it was never included within the manga. He had also shared the details of Urahara and Yoruichi's backstory to the writer of Can't Be Your Own World, Ryogo Narita. Upon learning of this untold story, Narita had pleaded with Kubo that he needs to share this story with the fans. Hopefully this backstory may add some crucial context to Urahara and Yoruichi's fight against Askin, and then we have the Vizards who have already been teased to have a bit more of an expanded role in their fight against Gerard. In Cour 3 we already saw them all gather and confront the Sternritter by activating their hollow masks collectively. This is already a major change that we didn't see within the manga, so fans are expecting to hopefully see them activate their Bankai along with these hollow masks, and fans also want to see the highly anticipated Bankai reveal of Love, who of course is the only Vizard captain whose Bankai has yet to be revealed. Now, over Cours 1 to 3, we have seen hints of the past and history of the Soul King. The anime has laid a lot of the groundwork, so it would be really breathtaking if we got to see more glimpses of the primordial world of Bleach, as well as seeing more of the history of the ancestors of the 5 great noble families, how they had imprisoned the Soul King, as well as shedding more light on the past of Yhwach. A backstory focusing on the history of the Soul King may finally unveil the truth behind the foundations of the Soul Society. These additions within Cour 4 may also serve as amazing setup for a manga continuation via the Hell arc, which hopefully will explore more of the corruption that the Shinigami hide in their attempt to maintain the current world order. Another notable change that was made within Cour 3 was the early arrival of Isshin and Ryuken within Varavelt. This does open up several possibilities for the two of them partaking in anime exclusive fights against some of the Sternritter. If I'm being really optimistic, we could see the highly anticipated Bankai reveal of Isshin here. We may even see Isshin reunite with his former squad members Rangiku and Hitsugaya, and we may even get to see an extended scene where Ryuken speaks with Uryu about the creation of the Still Silver Arrowhead. I firmly believe that all of these are very plausible scenarios, and there is definitely a reason behind why Isshin and Ryuken have arrived onto the battlefield earlier in comparison to the manga. And then we have the return of the Fullbringers, which already is being set up via anime exclusive scenes, as towards the end of Cour 3 we had seen Riruka and Yukio appear outside of the Shiba residence, where we know that Ginjo and Tsukishima are training with Ganju. This definitely suggests that the Fullbringers will have some anime exclusive scenes within Cour 4, which is very welcomed as these guys had a very brief appearance within the manga, and quite notably, similar to Isshin and Ryuken, the Fullbringers didn't partake in any significant fights in the manga, despite them having trained for a considerable amount of time with Ganju. So with there being a need for new anime exclusive fights needing to be added, we also need to see the existing fights within the manga being expanded upon. Most notably, Uryu vs Hashward definitely needs to be expanded on, as most of this fight was off-screened in the manga. And then we have the highly anticipated clash between Aizen and Yhwach, which was very brief within the manga, and this is definitely my highly requested moment that I want to see expanded upon within Cour 4. And then we have the entire final confrontation with Yhwach, which definitely needs way more breathing room, because within a span of a few pages, Yhwach is abruptly defeated within the manga, and the anime has an opportunity to rectify this, because as it stands, the defeat of Yhwach is very abrupt and anticlimactic. Well, there you have it. This is absolutely everything that I have on Cour 4 The Calamity. While yes, we have over a year to wait until Cour 4 finally releases, it is promising to be one of the most ambitious cours of the 1000-Year Blood War arc anime. With barely half of the source material of previous cours, but a full season's worth of episodes to fill, Pierrot Films has the perfect opportunity to expand upon the finale of this story arc. There is definitely so much to look forward to, so definitely let me know all of your thoughts by continuing the discussion in the comments. What moment are you looking forward to seeing animated the most within Cour 4? If there's anything that I've forgotten to mention about Cour 4, then let me know. And I also want to know all of your predictions for what anime exclusive editions we can expect to see in the final core of the anime. Lastly, thank you for making it to the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see you in my next Bleach video.
A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.